Alex Albon scored his lowest points in Formula 1 in his career. Yet he claims the Formula 1 2022 season was the strongest season he's had to date. Do you agree? Well, stay tuned so we can find out. Welcome to my F1 channel. Welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter in pole position. Here are 3 reasons why Alex Albon could be telling the truth. But before we get into that, let's discuss this season in particular. A season which was terrible for Williams, although when has it never been a terrible season for Williams? Finishing last in the constructors, the mind wonders, how can Alex Albon, who scored 4 points in the season, say this is his strongest season in Formula 1? Williams was so awful to the point where they had to remove Joss Capito, who I was a big fan of, and I don't know where Williams are going to be going from here. Can he truly say this is his best or strongest year in Formula 1? Let's have a look at the 3 years he's been in Formula 1. Remember, in 2019, he was with the Toro Rosso and he impressed very, very well, getting into Q3s. He got into the top 10 in terms of finishes, and he got quite a few points as well for Toro Rosso in 2019. So much so that he even joined Red Bull the same season, in his debut season, because Pierre Gasly wasn't necessarily cutting the mustard at Red Bull. And to think he joined up with Max Verstappen, not a bad year if you ask me. That's probably one of his best years. Although 2020 was a very, very tough year for many reasons, and especially for the Thai driver. Didn't quite find the same fortunes as he did in the Toro Rosso the year prior. He found it very, very tough. He scored 105 points out of Red Bull's 319 and was later that year removed from the Red Bull team. Also, he finished 7th in the Drivers' Championship, probably his worst year. So they demoted him to become the test driver and reserve driver in 2021, which may seem like a step back, but bear this in mind, the Red Bull that we are seeing currently right now, a lot of it, of course, has to do with Alex Albon testing that car week in, week out in 2021. But 2022, we saw some light. Alex Albon managed to replace George Russell in the Williams, who obviously went to Mercedes, and he earned 4 points and finished 19th in the Drivers' Constructors in 2022. So what is Alex Albon talking about being the strongest year in Formula 1 to date? Comment down below your thoughts on Alex Albon's strongest season in Formula 1. But here's the first reason I'll give. He's back in Formula 1. Remember, this is a man who was out in 2021, and who knows how difficult it is to get back into Formula 1 once you are out. I mean, ask Nico Hülkenberg, Danny Ricciardo, even Mick Schumacher for that matter. It's not a guarantee. Number 2, he finally had a season where he could actually settle down. Yeah, if you think about the first year, 2019, his debut year, he's doing well. Then he has to move into the Red Bull team, which of course is happy days, but of course there's no stability. He's having to adapt again and learn new things. And of course, when you're adapting at a high level like Red Bull, it's you have to be a lot quicker at adapting there. And obviously he didn't at the first ask. But this season, he's finally had a year where it's been no pressure, no risk of having to adapt to new surroundings or change anything. And I mean, of course, joining Williams is a new thing, but he's had the whole season to lead that team. Here's the third and probably the most important thing, because he quotes and says that he's got his confidence back, his driving confidence back. And who knows how much of a big deal this is in Formula 1 as a driver, that you need to have your confidence going into a Formula 1 season. If you lose that driving confidence, I mean, I think of Danny Ricciardo and my beloved McLaren, and there's a lot of that where if the driver hasn't got that confidence, even Sebastian Vettel in his Ferrari time, if the confidence isn't there, you don't see the same driver. And he mentioned that this is the moment where he feels like he's at his best right now in terms of learning how to drive a Formula 1 car, being in the groove and being settled at Williams. And this is probably why he will say a statement like being the strongest year he's ever had. And we know in Formula 1, if you don't have driving confidence, you are finished. Comment down below on these 3 suggestions as to why this might be his strongest year. What is the strongest year you reckon Albon has had? And if you like Formula 1 content like this, YouTube thinks you will like this video over here, or you can check out my previous video about Andretti Autosport joining Formula 1.